Take a look around you. Look at your siblings, your friends, your parents, your pets. Everyone has genetics that makes them who they are. Genetics is made up from your parents' DNA that is inherited and creates copies going through the process of meiosis. In this process, the chromosomes of your mother and your father are separated and create daughter cells, which becomes your DNA. New combinations are made up throughout meiosis. Every single organism has a genetic makeup that is unique to themselves and can be traced through a family tree. Every human has traits that are involved in their DNA, like their eye color, their hair color, their height, their skin color, and any allergies or diseases that you may have. All cells have DNA in their nucleus. DNA is created from building blocks. There are 3 parts: the sugar, phosphate, and the base. There are 4 bases: adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine. These are pairs that are always together. Adenine goes with thymine and cytosine goes with guanine. DNA is considered the double helix because it has 2 strands with the bases in the middle. Now, since the bases are in the middle, they have to be connected some way, so they have hydrogen bonds to connect them to the double strands. Genes are 3-letter base pairs creating a combination designated with amino acid codes. All genes are protein, which codes for the inherited trait. All humans have 46 chromosomes inside of them. However, when a male and a female create an offspring, 23 chromosomes comes from the male and 23 chromosomes comes from the female, making up the full 46 chromosomes for the offspring. DNA plays a big role in evolution because we can go back in time and use DNA to see how organisms have evolved over the past year. We can use DNA to solve crimes and for humans to find their birth parents if they were adopted or want to find more information about their inheritance and their family. Some questions you might be asking is if twins and triplets have the same genetic makeup. It is possible that multiples can have the same genetic makeup, especially if they're identical. However, there are other ways that a human can be identified in law enforcement. Some ways are fingerprints and handwriting, which is a whole topic on its own. Now, how do scientists get the DNA from a person to link it to a case? As discussed earlier, all of your cells have DNA in them. You probably don't realize, but when you're brushing your hair, there's DNA on the floor afterwards, or even on the counter. When you take a sip of your drink, your DNA is on the rim of the glass. There's DNA in your sweat that then goes onto your clothes. Scientists can come in and swab the areas where there is DNA. It goes to the lab where scientists extract the DNA from the sample, create extra copies so they don't damage the original copy and have more copies to create more tests on, which is like recombinant DNA. Once the scientists put it into the water bath, spin it, and pull apart the DNA, they run it through a machine which tells them who it belongs to based on the results. Then it goes into the system CODIS, where a DNA profile is created. I'm currently sitting at the beach on my day off and thought I would look up some interesting facts about genetics and let you guys all know more about genetics. Earlier in the video, I showed you guys what DNA and RNA looks like, but they are completely different genetics. Like discussed earlier, DNA is inside all cells' nucleus, containing genetic information for the development and function of the organisms. RNA has the same genetic makeup with the sugar, phosphate, and backbone. Organisms have genotypes and phenotypes that make them unique. Genotypes is the genetic makeup and phenotype is the physical appearance, like their outside features, for example, their hair and eye color. We share 96% of our DNA with chimpanzees and gorillas. We are also related to bananas, who we share 50% of our DNA with. The only cells that do not carry out DNA is the red blood cells. All other cells have the same DNA inside the nucleus. However, the red blood cells starts with our DNA and destroys the nucleus once it's no longer in the process. If it wasn't for DNA, organisms would not be able to grow, function, and reproduce.